So I'm filming this literally 2 months after I went, but this is my sort of little compilation video of when I went to London for the day. I was invited by the National Youth Agency as part of the NCS Regional Youth Board to go as part of Democracy Week in the UK back on July 2nd. So I'm doing this intro on September 2nd, so I know it's really late uploading, but me and I think it was 4 other people from our youth board. It might have been 2 from our youth board, but anyway, I went with these girls and we met loads of politicians, and I will sort of do a bit of a voiceover explaining some of the things we did and all that sort of thing, because I didn't actually manage to get that many clips because there's a lot of places where you weren't allowed to film. So yeah, here you go. So this is a book that I bought from the train station at Euston from Paper Chicks. This is the House of Parliament.
The most recent piece of artwork added to the Palace of Westminster, unveiled 2 years ago, and it commemorates the 150th anniversary of the first attempt by women to have the vote and to be members of the House of Commons.
This is when we were travelling from a conference at the House of Parliament to the Liberal Democrats HQ, which was really so we didn't actually have that much time to film anything, but I did try to get quite a few little snapshots. So we were just walking to where we were going to stop for lunch. They provided lunch, which was really nice, and a sandwich. There's quite a lot in there actually. Yeah, we're just by the Liberal Democrats HQ at that point. This is for my vlog. That's Tess sitting next to me. We were just waiting for our little conference with the Lib Dems, and then this is their sort of reception. That's me at their reception. There is other photos of me and the other girls in there, but I didn't know if they wanted to be in my little vlog, so yeah. Yeah, this is me proving that I went to the Liberal Democrats HQ to my friends. They didn't believe me. And this is from when we were walking back from the Liberal Democrat HQ and we were going to the Cabinet Office. And then this is me attempting to use the tube on the way home. So, yeah, fun times. And then this is me on the train holding up my badge on the way home. And that's my little key ring that I bought as well, proving that I've been on the London Underground. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief rundown of what we did. So I was really not feeling very well, so I actually missed the last part of the trip, which was to go and see Downing Street, and they didn't meet the Prime Minister, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the only bit of the trip that I didn't do. I was just feeling so ill. It was absolutely horrible. So going down, so the first thing that we did was we had the tour of the Houses of Parliament, and which was unfortunately cut a little bit short to get to our first sort of meeting. So we went to a conference room within the Houses of Parliament, and we met with various MPs. Sorry, I'm looking down at my notes here. So we spoke to the head of the Cabinet Office, or did we? No. Right. We spoke to the head of the House of Commons, Angela Leadsom, and we discussed with her about voting and why it's so important. We did a little bit of a question and answer. If you don't know, Angela is the 336th ever female MP, and she's the 4th ever female leader of the Houses of Commons. Before speaking to Angela, we had a talk with Charlotte Dobson, who introed a lot of us into what the UK Parliament is made up of and that sort of thing. And then afterwards we went, as you saw, to the Lib Dem HQ, and we spoke to the former Defence Minister, and we spoke to... Right, this is me trying to read my really messy writing. We spoke to Lucy Kane, Nick, I haven't given him a last name, Sir Nick Harvey, I think that is. It's just not in order. But anyway, we spoke a lot about our views, and their main point was why young people should get involved in politics, which I honestly think is a good thing. And a lot of people say to me, well, there is options for you to do like politics, GCSE and A-level and all this, and I'm like, that's the wrong way to get into it, because I feel like if you've had no political experience before and you just go straight into learning about it at A-level and GCSE and stuff like that, and you aren't introduced to it gradually, I think you're going to end up with quite biased opinions and you're not really going to have the overall picture. So we asked their opinions and reasons behind what the Lib Dems stand for, as well as their opinions on trans rights, worldwide religious issues, primary education, and if politics should be brought into there. And me personally, and I asked this to every single MP I met, was, do you think that citizenship should be as important as maths and English in schools? Because I found that I've not been educated on any critical life skills. I don't know what taxes are. I never used to know how the government was structured until just before I went on this trip. I didn't know what I still don't know what my human rights are. And like, my school denied that they did this and that everyone gets adequate education now. But when I was in year 11, honest to God, I remember my RE and core teacher telling us that we'd be going on to taxes and stuff like that in the next lesson, and yet when we got into the next lesson we were told that we were no longer having core or citizenship lessons because they wanted to do extra maths and English, and that's just not fair because I haven't got any life skills because of it. And that I discussed that with almost every MP I met. But going back to the Lib Dems, if I can find all my notes, I've actually spelt so many things wrong looking at this. Okay. What? Basically, the Lib Dems one I found quite eye-opening because there was people from various backgrounds. Like, one of the members of the party used to be a teacher, so she completely understood where we were coming from. The person who was in charge of the membership and all that sort of thing, if you wanted to join, he's probably going to look at your application, all that sort of thing. Like, he himself is gay, so he really understood when we raised about issues to do with the LGBTQ plus community, not just trans rights. We looked at a lot of different things, and it was actually very insightful to be talking to a political party that has often been, if you don't particularly know much about politics, it has been generalised and put down as a party that is never going to get into power. So like, over the last couple of elections, like, I didn't know much about what the coalition was, and then obviously with the election where David Cameron was reinstated, that one, like, it was almost as if the Lib Dems were like not even, like, the way we spoke about it was like, oh yeah, they're never gonna have a chance, don't worry about those, just focus on like Tories and the Labour and UKIP, like they were the ones that had a real chance. And like, at the time it just went over my head because I was about 14, 15, but you know, so yeah. A few other people went to different parties, so another group of people went to Labour, another group went to Conservatives, we went to the Dems, and then after that we went to the Cabinet Office, and I did meet the head of the Cabinet Office, Chloe Smith. She's the MP for Norfolk and that general area. She's the Minister of Constitution. She runs and invited us here for National Democracy Week, and I've written here quite in bold, Cabinet Office has nice toilets. So we wanted education. No, they said they wanted education on politics to be implemented, and that's the whole point of this week, to get young people involved in politics, because, which I rightly agree with, we are the future as young people. We're the next generation coming up into it. And again, I asked my question, do you think citizenship and education should be equally as important? And we as a big group discussed that many teachers and stuff like that have said, well, it's your parents' responsibility to teach about the ways of the world, and if parents weren't educated first, how are they meant to teach us? So one thing that a lot of MPs made the excuse of when we had the general discussion with MPs in our first meeting was that schools can only support to an extent, which I completely agree with. They can't do everything. There's only so many hours in a school day. But even if it's just 1 hour a fortnight, if you tell me about my taxes, like, I'll be okay, you know what I mean? Like, and one thing that was really, really, really put in was about voting in every single place we went into, and the one thing is that we all have the right to vote now, but a lot of us don't know what we're voting for, which is completely unfair, and that's why there's still problems. So for example, the amount of people that didn't vote in the US election, and then the amount of people that voted that didn't know what they were doing, and now they have so many issues with who they've got as a president, you know what I mean? But the one message that we were told throughout this, and is like quite, you know, what's the word? It's like the message they want to give across is that they are empowering young people to take control, and I find that, like, yeah, that's what we need to do. And I found the whole trip like such a valuable experience, because I've never met an MP before. I've never met somebody that's high up or has any power before, and then to speak to these such high up people, like personally, it wasn't just like listening to certain people talk, like everyone got a chance to talk, and there was well over 50 people there. So like, I had such a good week, and just, it's a big thank you for inviting me. And this was just going to be a little voiceover, but because I haven't got that many clips, I've ended up talking for like, this video is probably going to be about 12 minutes long now, but you know, what can you do? Anyway, thank you for watching. If any of you watch this that went or have had similar experiences or want to get involved in Democracy Week or anything like that, I'll leave stuff below. I'm going to leave the link to NCS below as well, because that's how I got involved with this. That's why I've had so many good opportunities and stuff like that, and it's something that if you're age 15 to 17, you can cut myself off there. So it's something, if you're age 15 to 17, you can get involved with, and it'll be such a good opportunity. So